Now this is one you've got to try. Let me show you how to make a bourbon and peach iced tea. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, this week I'm making a bourbon peach iced tea, which is a really nice, really refreshing cocktail. It is still winter here in Ireland, it is still kind of dark, but even though it is kind of dark, it is kind of rainy, it is kind of cold, this kind of drink is really refreshing. Really kind of brightens up the mood, brightens up the day with those nice fruity flavors. I have seen variations of this recipe online called things like the Kentucky Peach Punch or the Kentucky Peach Iced Tea, but it's all kind of the same idea. It's actually about as easy to make one serving of this cocktail as it is to make a kind of a pitcher of it, because you're using kind of nice round kind of measurements of the cocktail, and it's a very easy cocktail to sip. So you might not want just one glass, you might want a lot of glasses. You might want to share this out with a few people because it's very, very easy to drink. For the ingredients, we're going to be using some fresh peaches muddled up in the bottom of our shaker tin. We're going to be using some peach iced tea. This is sweetened peach iced tea from a very well-known brand that most people should recognize, but I put it in a nice glass here so it looks very fancy. If you want, you can make your own peach iced tea, but I'm kind of lazy and I didn't want to make my own peach iced tea. I'll also be using some bourbon. My bourbon of choice for things like this, it's Wild Turkey 101. It's got a nice bit of extra weight because it comes in at 101 proof, so it has a nice bit of heft to it that will deliver into a cocktail, but it's not overpowering. It's not too strong. It gives a nice bit of flavor. Also be using a little bit of Archer's Peach Schnapps. This is going to give us some of that nice extra peach flavor, but also give us a bit of sweetness to kind of add to the flavor of the cocktail. And lastly, a little bit of lemon juice. Not a huge amount, just enough to kind of cut through the sweetness from the iced tea, sweetness from the peach and sweetness from the peach schnapps. The lemon juice will help round things out a little bit. So that's enough talking about the cocktail. It's time to make it. I'm going to be making mine in a shaker tin, but you can make yours in a big jug or whatever way you like to make it. I'm going to be putting in 1, 2, 3 slices of peach. Now my peach is a little bit small, so if you have maybe bigger peaches, you might only need to use 2 slices, but I've used 3 slices here just to get a nice amount of flavor. I'm going to muddle those up at the start, at the bottom of my shaker tin, to get all that juice and all that flavor out of those peach slices. Okay, those slices are nicely muddled down now, so I'm going to get ready to add in the rest of my ingredients. I'm going to start off with a nice rock of ice before I measure out the rest of my ingredients. With our bourbon, we're going to go in for 1.5 ounces or 45 ml of our bourbon. Like I said, Wild Turkey, lots of flavor, lots of kind of profile, and will give a nice, you'll get a nice hit of bourbon, but it won't overpower. It won't be a hard cocktail to drink. Next up, it's our Archers, our Peach Schnapps. This very sweet, so if you've got a Peach Schnapps that's maybe a little bit less sweet, maybe you might need to add a little bit of sugar syrup, but this is very sweet. It's very sugary forward, so I'm only going to go in with 20 ml of my Archer's Peach Schnapps just to give us a bit of sugar and also a little bit more peach flavor into there. Then I'm going to go in with our lemon juice. Like I said, just a small amount, just about 15 ml of lemon juice into there, into our measurement, and that'll help cut through those kind of really lots of sweet sugary notes in our cocktail. Bang the top on and shake it away just about 20 seconds just to get everything nicely mixed. Okay, I think that is nicely mixed now, so we're gonna bang the top off our shaker tin and get ready to strain it out into a nice tall highball glass with some ice in it. We're not gonna fill this glass up with the cocktail because we are gonna be topping it off with that peach iced tea later on. If you want, you can double strain this. I'm only single straining because I want to get a little bit of that peach pulp in. Not a huge amount, but just a little bit, so when I drink it, I get those natural peach flavors. If you want a cleaner presentation, you would just double strain it just to catch all the pulp. But I'm gonna get a nice few little bits. I can see a little bit of like that actual peach pulp has come through into the cocktail, but we're not finished yet. Gonna get a nice little slice of peach into there, just like that, and then top it off with some of that peach iced tea. Oh yes, you can see it just kind of filters down into the glass. If you have like a big pitcher or a big jug, you can put in a lot of slices of that kind of those peaches in there to get a nice presentation, but that I think looks really well. add a straw, and that right there is how I make a bourbon peach iced tea. Now real quick, before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey cocktails every Friday and I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, so if you want to see those, make sure you hit subscribe. But now let's taste this cocktail. Oh yes, this is really nice. Like, I made this a few times to tweak the recipe, to tweak the kind of the ingredients I wanted, and I'm really happy I did because it's really, really nice. I've seen some recipes online that call for adding sugar syrup or sugar, and I think that would make this really too sweet. Now, if you're using an unsweetened iced tea, maybe you'd need to use that, add a bit of sugar. But right here, with that store-bought iced tea, with the Archers, with the natural sugar from that peaches, and with the little bit of the sweetness you do get from the bourbon, there's a lot of sweetness in here, and that lemon juice, you can't really taste it. You can't taste the lemon juice coming through, but it just helps kind of cut across, it helps balance it out. It's not all peaches in one direction. There's peaches, bit of citrus kind of pulling it back, and you get that little bit of bourbon. You get the kind of oaky, spicy note of the bourbon coming through. Not overpowering, like I said, but just adding a nice bit of flavor. But what about you? Do you have any kind of iced tea recipes that you love making? Do you have any of those big kind of pitcher cocktails that you like making? Let me know down below. But for now, I'm gonna keep on enjoying this, and I'll see you next time. Sláinte.